Frank is a man defined by his unyielding determination. Every day, he works his hands to the bone, not because he loves his job. Far from it, but because it's the only way to keep a roof over his family's heads and food on the table. It's a relentless grind, but Frank faces it with quiet resolve, knowing his wife and children depend on him. Each morning, his alarm jolts him awake at 7 a.m., a stark reminder of another day at the dead-end job he dreads. He drags himself out of bed and gets dressed, his movements heavy with exhaustion. In the kitchen, his wife is hard at work making breakfast. The smell of bacon and eggs fills the air, accompanied by the sight of 2 biscuits neatly placed on his plate. It's the same meal every single morning. Frank secretly dislikes it, craving variety, but he swallows his complaints along with the food. His wife is already stretched thin, and the last thing he wants is to make her feel unappreciated. The night before, she always prepares his lunch, a simple sandwich, so it's ready for him to grab as he heads out the door. By 8:10 a.m., he's gone, the echoes of his children's laughter fading behind him as the door closes. The 12-minute commute to work feels far longer, each mile amplifying the weight of dread. For Frank, those 12 minutes aren't just a drive. They're a mental spiral, anticipating 8 hours ahead of a job that pays $17.50 an hour, barely enough to keep his family afloat. Florida's cost of living is unforgiving, with rent sitting at $2,000 a month, 2 car payments, insurance premiums, and grocery prices that seem to climb higher each week. Frank feels like he's fighting a losing battle. Every month, the debts pile higher. Credit cards, once a safety net, are now maxed out, leaving no room for emergencies or even the smallest luxuries. When he arrives at work, a local lawnmower shop, Frank forces himself to set aside his worries and focus on the tasks at hand. He's one of 4 mechanics, each responsible for repairing small engines and machinery. Frank has years of experience, having once owned his own power sports dealership, but the success he built in the past is now just a distant memory, overshadowed by his current reality. The other mechanics, however, seem to have a different approach to work. They spend their days scrolling through their phones or standing around in idle conversation. Frank, meanwhile, pours himself into every repair, determined to maintain his reputation as a reliable worker. Yet, his dedication often feels like a curse. The boss turns a blind eye to the other's laziness, but Frank, he's always under scrutiny. The second he says a word to anyone, the boss jumps on him for wasting time, while the others get off scot-free. It's a pattern that's been going on for over a year, wearing Frank down bit by bit. The frustration simmers within him, threatening to boil over. He knows he should confront his boss about the unfair treatment, but the stakes are too high. Losing this job would mean losing the only stable income his family has. And so, Frank keeps his head down, enduring the mistreatment, even as it eats away at him. But deep down, a question lingers. How much longer can he hold it all in? Will there come a day when he finally stands up for himself? Or will the fear of losing everything keep him silent? This is just the first installment of a 6-part story. Stay tuned for the next chapter, and don't forget to subscribe to keep up with every new release.